Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto. Thank you for joining me again today. All right, so coming off of my live stream earlier, Bitcoin decided to sell off. So you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you some action in Bitcoin. Unfortunately, it's not the direction you want, but not all is lost and not by a long shot. We are actually now forming a handle in a cup with a handle pattern. A cup with a handle pattern is a very bullish pattern. It is a continuation pattern, implying that price should continue higher once this pattern is resolved. Now, I talked in, I think it was my last video, regarding how to buy Bitcoin properly, and that video still applies. That video still applies. But I think I mentioned that the trend line, hold on, let me dive in here, guys. Let me dive in here. Okay, I think I mentioned last time that these trend lines are ever evolving. I talked about you can buy over the top of the right side of the cup, you can buy over the top on the left side of the cup, and you can buy at an early buy point basically inside of some kind of a handle. All right, so I was kind of, thinking we were going to form it here, but we didn't. We made another high, so now we're probably going to form it here. Okay, we're probably going to form it something like this. I don't know the slope, guys. Don't take this at my word. Just kind of drawing lines on the screen here, but we're going to kind of angle it. So let's get this out of the way. I don't want to remove it, but let's get that out of the way. So here's your cup. Now we're going to form a handle. A handle, and what's happening here is very psychological. What's happening here is very psychological. The handle forms because the buyers don't want to push it higher yet. The buyers want to wait to see what the sellers are going to do. So the sellers have stepped in and they're going to bring the coin lower. They're going to bring it lower, and how far down they will be able to push the coin will kind of be telling in how much selling pressure there is. Now that may seem a little self-evident, but if you haven't thought of it in those terms before, maybe it's a little bit revolutionary. Okay, a cup with handle pattern forms because on the right side of the cup you have buyers, but they don't want to break it out yet. They want to buy some more cheaper coins, so they're going to let it drift down. And then when the buyers start to see other buyers step in, then they'll start to take it higher. And then all those buyers cumulatively will actually take it into new highs past these recent highs. Obviously, we're not going into all-time highs, but we're going to bring it past these highs. So you're going to look for a price consolidation. We're going to have a drop, we're going to have a bounce, we're going to have a drop, we're going to have a bounce, hopefully a well-defined channel. These handles take many different forms. There's not one specific type of handle that forms. They can take all shapes, guys. They can take all kinds of shapes. So anyway, we're getting some downward action here. We'll see what happens going forward. Not all hope is lost. Just because we didn't break out here means that we're not going to break out. Okay, there's definitely is still a possibility that we break out. We'll have to see what the volume does. We'll have to see what the price action does going forward over the next day or two. All right, so there you go. Not all is lost. But at the same time, you do not want to be buying this pattern arbitrarily. A cup with handle pattern needs to break out. And as long as we're below this 11,775 level, we're still in danger of Bitcoin rolling over and going down. So you definitely want to wait for the breakout. You definitely want to wait for the breakout to take this higher. And really, when you think about it, 11,612 was the high here. Let me get that exactly. 11,640 was the high, and 11,775 here was kind of the high over here. So you're talking about a $100 difference. To be quite frank with you, I would kind of welcome that as some insurance just to make sure that we're going to go higher. Okay, just to make sure that we are going to go higher. That being said, if you see an early buy point with some early accumulation, some really good volume signatures, and you want to take a position, that is fine. Just make sure you have a stop loss. So what is this blue line on my chart here? Well, this blue line, I was looking at the chart, trying to identify some place where this pullback may be headed. If it's a very strong market, then we could just come down to this blue line. Okay, the blue line is 11,041. Okay, 11,041 or somewhere around there. And if we can get down to here and then bounce higher, I think that would be very strong. The reason why I drew this trend line is because we have a spike high up to it, a spike low down to it, and a little price consolidation around it as well. So this seems to be kind of a nice little equilibrium spot where buyers and sellers seem to have found some kind of common ground in the past. So I'm just kind of picking that spot arbitrarily. But you know, there are a series of highs and lows really in sequential order down here. There's a lot of support and resistance as we get down. So really anywhere it can turn around. But this is just a place that I just have recognized as a kind of an equilibrium area. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin has moved to the downside, starting a probable handle in this cup pattern, cup with handle coming up. And we'll see where we go from there. A break past 12,000 on good volume would be so good for Bitcoin. You can basically call the bear dead at that point, I think. You can call the bear officially dead if we break over 12,000 here on some volume. But there's a little bit of work to do before then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.